What is up, Evil Dead fans? In this video, we're going to talk about the first part of the bones that you put on the Evil Dead 1 dagger and the differences of those bones versus the Evil Dead 2 dagger bones. Let's get started. Before we get started, the first thing I'm going to say, it's 95 degrees here. I'm sweating my butt off.
Oh, why do I need coffee now?
And yeah, not having the most fun today. But you guys need to see this before I keep on going with the build and show you the differences between the two.
All right, let's go.
So let's get into a closer look of this build so far, and I will show you the differences. So how I built this right here is before I put this plaster on. And if you're wondering what all this kind of stuff is, you can reference back to the Evil Dead 2 video when I made that dagger. It's basically milliput with some really crappy sculpting stuff you just get from Michael's or Hobby Lobby just to fill it in. I did add pieces of wood for kind of like a handle so it actually will hold better. You just don't want to use a straight blade because it won't really stay on the blade. You got to have some kind of rigid areas so it can hold, and actually will fill it out a little better. So here's a look at it so far and what I've got done. So the first thing you're going to notice is this bone, this bone, this bone, and these side bones all the way around here so far are the same ones on Evil Dead 2. Now, here's a few differences. Now, in Evil Dead 2, this is here, this little slot, which is a kit bone, is seen in Evil Dead 1. They did fill it out in Evil Dead 2. Another change is this bone is actually moved down, and right here is that little skinny wing bone in Evil Dead 2. Evil Dead 1 didn't have that. They had this spine piece right here. If you have a Trick Treat Studios dagger, you'll notice it's on the top of the head, which is, it's not correct. I'm just gonna say that right now because it is not. There's a different piece that goes on top of the head. I call that the Ninja Turtle dick.
I like turtles.
Because if you look back at the old 80s comics of the Ninja Turtles, they had tails, and they had to get rid of the tails for the action figures in the cartoon because they said it looked like they had dicks. So that's what I call that. And what that piece is, if I still have it, which I have two kids, I'm trying to find this piece, is from this piece. It was right here. So you got to cut that off, and this piece is on the back, and I'll get to that here in a second. So there is a major difference right there, and that one still has a slot. When it comes to the drumstick over here, it's turned in that way. So this end is facing that way, and this one's facing kind of the same way, but kind of back. It's in the position of when you see it on the floor. It's that famous screenshot when it's on the floor of the cabin. Now, when it comes to these positioning, you have options. The scene where Scotty is fighting his girlfriend after she's possessed was really kind of, most of it filmed later to an extent. But you'll notice the drumsticks on that one are skinnier and they're kind of facing backwards. So there's a huge difference, and there's a huge difference with the head, but we'll talk about that once I start working on the head of it. So there's two big differences there. Let's go over here. You want to have these going down. These ones stay going down. See how it's kind of angled just a tad? That's fine. You just don't want to, have it going back like that at a severe angle. Now let's go to the butt. You got to put a butt on it. Put a little dump truck on the end.
Reality hit you hard, bro.
That's that other piece that I was talking about. That's on the kit you have to cut off. Here's that other piece in the back. I did notice a scene when Linda's holding it and these kind of bones are kind of slanted. In Evil Dead 2, they're straight. And the view that I had wasn't the greatest because there's not a lot of great views of that dagger in Evil Dead 1. There is a lot, but certain ones I'm looking for, there's not a lot. So I was like, oh yeah, it's slanted. Let's do that. And it worked out just right for room. When it comes to this kit bone right here, you want to leave that little slot because that is seam. If I can focus. There we go. Evil Dead 2, it's filled in. And then you got this other side, which we'll talk about right now. So here's the other side. If you're doing Evil Dead 1, specifically Evil Dead 1, and you can do this on Evil Dead 2 because this was, you know, based off the dagger that was changed in Evil Dead 2, you have to overlap these bones. These ones have to touch and overlap, and this one has to be super close. There is a dagger in Evil Dead 2 that was made that it wasn't overlapping. You can see that on Trick or Treat Studios dagger. It is also correct for Evil Dead 2, but not Evil Dead 1. Evil Dead 1, you have to have the overlap. You have the other drumstick, like I was talking about. And one thing you can do as well, and got me to really think that there was 2 daggers or severe improvements on the singular dagger from Evil Dead 1. Because of this hand position. You will see this coming down at just a slight slant most of the time. At other times, especially when Scotty's fighting his girlfriend, you will see this slid way back at a severe angle. So that is correct for Evil Dead 1 as well. And that got me thinking there might have been a second dagger since the drumsticks were turned backwards. The head of it is a lot bigger. And also, that's the one that the blood came out of the mouth. So I don't know for sure if there was 2 or if there was just severe changes, repairs done during the filming. I really don't know. I would ask Tom, but last time I heard, Tom really doesn't like talking about Evil Dead, and I understand. So for the most part, most of the bones are the same. This is in a different position from Evil Dead 2, and I'll show you that in just a second. Evil Dead 2, like I said, in my Evil Dead 2 Kandarian dagger build, there is options on positioning. So let's look at the butt. And there's supposed to be a little bit of a butt gap right here. I left a little bit of a gap. I didn't want that smooth gap. So I wanted to really just keep it looking gnarly. So we got that so far. And let's put this next to the Evil Dead 2 dagger and see the differences. Now I'm going to use mine as an example. Some people know that I have one of David Bartrug's daggers that he got the molds from Tom Sullivan. So a lot of people will probably think, why didn't you just use that as reference on bone position? Because that is a great example on how things were changed in Evil Dead 2. I can reference it to some positioning, but things have been repaired, things have been changed. So I can't use that as a solid 100% example for Evil Dead 1. So let's compare the fronts here. I want to get closer up, but I only got 2 hands. So you can see right here, this bone right here is not here. It's gone. And you can zoom in and take a look. And then also this position of this bone, which is right here, in Evil Dead 2 is dropped down. Evil Dead 1, straight across from the other one. Those little marks are filled in. And talking about that drumstick positioning, this drumstick to that drumstick is the same. They did replace drumsticks. They did break off because really what Tom was using at the time to make these daggers was something similar to paper mache in a way. And I know a lot of people are asking why. Well, the thing about it is back then they did it for filming, and that they didn't think it was going to be a prop that everybody would want later on, that kind of thing. So that's just the way it is. And back then there wasn't a lot of options like there is now to make props and do stuff like that. And if you notice that positioning here, this drumstick, you will see the inner side is facing kind of that way inside. This one is facing the opposite direction. These drumsticks are bigger than these ones, of course. Reason for that is the bigger ones have that nice turn, little twist to them, you can see. And the shorter ones don't have a lot of twists. Some do, and these ones have a little bit of a twist, which is nice. I don't like the little shorty straight ones because they look a little funky. The look of these drumsticks is when Linda holds it up and you can see it kind of like spread out. So that's what I did for this one. This one, again, in Evil Dead 2 is kind of in the, when it's in the back of Annie, you know, you see it kind of rolling back and forth like that. And you can see this one has a little turtle dick This one does not.
She said, what? She said,
Like I said, the top of the head, that's going to come in one of the next videos because the top of the head is completely different from I would say completely different, a lot different. So I will show what's underneath the rib cage as well. This one I didn't put really any bones or anything under this rib cage except what's in the front and underneath this piece right here. This whole area, except for these two bones and the one that's underneath here, the flatness and this little curve up is not an Evil Dead 1. An Evil Dead 1, the one that shoots blood out of its mouth, has a really big chunk of like something on top. It almost looks like a big wrap turban hat. While the other one kind of has a big chunk of stuff, but it comes up to kind of a point a little bit. So there is differences there. And another thing right here, you can see how these aren't spaced, but they're not overlapping. That is something that is in Evil Dead 2, but also the closeness on the other side, like I was talking about, is on Evil Dead 2 because, you know, the Evil Dead 1 dagger turned into the Evil Dead 2 dagger, but there was more than one made for Evil Dead 2. So I'm going to keep working on this and make the next video for you guys. If you're following this and you want to learn how to do it, follow along. And until next time, you guys stay groovy. Oh my gosh, so fucking hot!
Oh man, the building is on fire.